Hi guys, today let's talk about regret. Regret is one of those things that's common across all cultures, all age groups, and everybody, despite your political orientation or anything, right? All of us go through some forms of regret in our life. However, not all of us deal with it the same way. Some of us are highly affected by those moments that create a form of regret, right? Some of us let those moments create anxiety and depression and let those moments hurt our well-being in the long run. However, some of us are able to take those moments as learning experiences and use those moments to better ourselves. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about how we could get rid of regret from our system and possibly avoid them in the future. Hi guys, welcome to A World Within. I am Bipin and I make videos on philosophy, psychology, inspiration, positivity, optimism, and anything that can lead us towards our goals, that can lead us towards being the best version of ourselves. So, on that regard, today I'm talking about regret, how to get rid of regret from our system, and how to avoid it in the future, right? Queen Latifa once said, "I made decisions that I regret, and I took them as learning experiences. I am human, not perfect, like everyone else." This quote is amazing, right? Mostly because it is such a real quote. It is something that seems to come from our heart, and I resonate with it a lot. And I know you guys resonate with that quote as well, right? We all make decisions in our lives that we sometimes tend to regret, right? Decisions that we possibly didn't think through, decisions that created a result outside of our expectation. And once we reach that moment where we realize that the decision that we made did not create the result we were anticipating, we change that into regret. And I think that's possibly one of the worst things we can do for the sake of our mental health, for the sake of our goals in the future, right? And that's because what regret does is it pushes us towards sorrow. It pushes us towards negative emotions and negative energy. Once we let these negative energies into our system, it's so much harder to get rid of them, right? So instead of letting these moments of regret turn into negative energy that are so hard to get rid of from our system, I think one of the things we could do is take these regretful moments and change them into learning experiences. You made a mistake. Now try to see what you can learn from that mistake. Try to see how that mistake can benefit you on your future, right? How do you take the lessons from that mistake and turn them into these experiential knowledge that you can use to be a better person in the future? How do you take these moments of weakness and turn them into moments of strength in the future, right? And that is very important as a human. Being able to take these moments of weaknesses, moments that could lead to regret and negative energy, and turning them into these positive learning moments that only help us grow, that help us move forward in our spiritual journeys and not backwards, right? So, regret is such a strong emotion. That's another reason to try and avoid regret in general, right? Because when regret stays within our system, it can turn into depression, anxiety, and it can really hinder our progress towards self-development, self-realization, enlightenment, flow, whatever it is that we are aiming for in our lives. Philosopher Soren Kierkegaard says it even better, right? He goes, "I see it all perfectly. There are two possible situations. One can either do this or that. My honest opinion and my friendly advice is this: do it or do not do it. You will regret both. And this, I think, exemplifies the human spirit, the human identity that much better, right? No matter what we do in our lives, we always spend time thinking about the possibilities if we hadn't made that decision, or if we had chosen a different path instead. So no matter what we do, no matter how far we get in life, no matter how good we do in life, we always have these what if moments in life, the fork in the road where you decided to go right instead of left. And those moments are gonna forever exist. So the only thing for us to really do is just pick a thing to do and move on with it. If it ends up being the wrong decision, then you learn from that, right? That is a learning experience. That is something that can teach you to be better, that can lead you to an even more enlightening situation, right? So that's the main thing. No matter what you do, you're gonna regret it. So why not just do something and then just take the consequences of it as lessons from which you learn, you grow, you become a better human being. That way, no matter what you do in life, you are constantly and precisely moving towards enlightenment, towards your self-realization, towards the innate goal that all of us humans have, right? This idea of self-enlightenment, this idea of self-sustainability, this idea of intellectual fulfillment, content, happiness, whatever it is that we are trying to reach, we are going to reach. But only if we just do things and learn the lessons from each of the things that we do in our lives. It's simple, very hard to practice, but it's simple, right? One of the best things we can do in order to avoid the regret from the decisions that we've made in our past is actually go back to that moment. Go back to that moment and see the different paths that you could have taken, right? And try to see how the path you did take lead you to this moment of enlightenment, to this moment of understanding. If you are actually reflecting on the decisions that you have made, then you are aware of it. So you have taken the first step. So why not go back and try to figure out how you got to the position you are right now because of the decision that you did make? And if where you are is positive, then most likely the decision you made, no matter what kind of regret you have, had a positive impact on your life. And once you understand that, you are not going to see that moment as a regretful moment because it had a positive impact in who you are as a person. Now, however, if that moment, the decision led you to now being in a worse off position, then what you do is you go back and explore the other paths that you could have taken and see if you can go back and try to take those paths again. And that way, you don't let that moment be of regret. You make that moment a moment of learning, a moment of education, a moment of enlightenment, right? And you can definitely move on from the negative emotion that is regret. Now, let's talk about avoiding regret in the future. Every decision we make in our life, of course, we're gonna have to think them through, right? That's one of the simplest way to avoid regretting things, right? Just think things through. Think of all the variables and the people involved and make sure that nobody's affected negatively by the decisions you make. However, not all of us, or actually none of us, are perceptive enough to truly see the impact of the decisions that we make. We can make the best decision in the moment thinking that we are including everybody's viewpoints and making the decision that's best for everybody, but there could come a moment in time where you understand that the decisions that you thought you made perfectly well created so much bad situations in the world. and you kind of end up regretting it, right? How do I avoid these regretful moments in the future? Don't get attached to any decision that you make, right? Don't think that the decision you have made is the most positive out of all of them. Be more flexible with your decision making. Once you've made a decision, know that you have the willpower, you have the necessary skills to go back on that decision and try again. You don't have to be committed to that one decision for the rest of your life. Because if you try to get committed to one decision, then most likely you're gonna end up with regret. Because like Kierkegaard said, no matter you do it or not, you're gonna regret. No matter what path we take, we're gonna regret that path. So you have to be more flexible with your attachment to a decision that you make. That way, if a decision that you make isn't leading you to the best path, then you can track back and make a different decision that will lead you to a better path, right? So that's the main thing. Do not rely on one path. Do not get attached to one decision you make. Do not commit all the way into one decision that you make. Leave options for yourself. Leave a room to breathe for yourself, right? Leave a room to learn and grow and backtrack and try again and again and again till it leads you to the result that you desire for yourself, right? Guys, so let's go over what we just talked about, right? How do we get rid of the regret from our system, from our past? The main thing to do is to backtrack and see what type of positive momentum it created in your life to get you to where you are. And the second thing is, if it hasn't created a positive result, then how do you find it within yourself to go back to that moment and take the other path that could lead you to the better place in life that you would like to be at, right? And the next thing I would talk to you guys about was, how do we avoid regretful situations in the future? And the main thing is to not be attached to any decision we make, to be flexible in our decision making, so that if the decision we did make ends up not providing the result we desired, then we can backtrack and change our direction, change our path, right? So that's definitely very, very important, right? All right, guys, that was it from me. Please remember the things I talked about today, because I know all of us go through regrets and will go through regrets in the future. So definitely let's try to manage our negativity by avoiding regret and other negative emotions, right? Other things that create a negative energy within our system or within our environment. So I would like to thank you guys for watching my video. I really hope you gained some value from this content. Please like this video if you found any kind of value. Please share this to anybody that might find some form of help from this content. And please subscribe to my channel, A World Within, here on YouTube. I really appreciate you staying with me through the end. Namaste. Have a great week. I'll see you soon again.